Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. Well, it's been a stable day for Indian markets. We've seen benchmarks advance, and if it weren't for the advance decline ratio, which was, well, perhaps inclined towards those which were falling down, it may have very well been a very good day of trade. But when it comes to the big movers on the indices, at least as far as the benchmarks go, I'm going to start off with the gainers. Z Entertainment advancing by around 3%, followed by ONGC, Tata Motors and Yes Bank. Yes Bank, a surprising move after the kind of volatility that the stock has seen. But Indiabulls Housing Finance declining by 8%. It's the biggest loser in today's day of trade, followed by Sun Pharmaceuticals. We've seen some weakness there as well. Tech Mahindra as well as Mahindra & Mahindra also losing out in trade. In the broader markets, when it comes to the NSE 500, well, we do have more gainers here in comparison to losers, but we must also remember that the NSE has seen the ratio flip to a certain extent. Dish TV India, Reliance Home Finance and Sterlite Technologies among big gainers in today's day of trade, along with PC Jeweler. We'll talk about Sterlite Technologies as well. But I want to start by talking about the Indiabulls group. So as you can see, the top top 4 of the top 10 losers in today's day of trade come from the Indiabulls group, which means Indiabulls Integrated, Indiabulls Housing Finance, something like an Indiabulls Real Estate, all losing out in trade today. And as we can see, there's clear pressure. But let's talk about this in a little more detail. I have Advait Rao who's joining us to give us an update on the same. Advait, what's going on and why has there been so much weakness here?
So yesterday, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court alleging that Indiabulls promoter and other entities, Mr. Samir Gehlot, has allegedly siphoned off around 98,000 crores through dummy shell corporations, which is in violation of various SEBI regulations, IT Act, and of course Reserve Bank of India regulations. But the company issued a statement late last night stating that its loan book is only 90,000 crores, so therefore siphoning off 98,000 crores is a bit bizarre. They've alleged that over the past 2 months they've been receiving threats from a group of, or a racket of blackmailers trying to extort money. Initially there was a complaint that the company had siphoned off 55,000 crores, and the group of blackmailers had told the company unless they were paid 10 crores, they would write to the government departments. The company decided to file an FIR on the 4th of June, and thereafter another complaint was made by the group stating that the sum of siphoning off by Gehlot and the other directors of the company was at around 98,000 crores. The issue now is that there is a police proceeding going on, so the company says that the plea filed yesterday is trying to divert attention from those police proceedings, for which the original complainant has been the police has been granted judicial custody of the original complainant, and they've said that these shareholders are trying to use the garb of being whistleblower shareholders, when in fact they only own about 2 and 4 shares of the company that they purchased only a few months ago. So it just seems like these are a bit contradictory statements that are coming in from both the petitioners and the company that's coming.
Absolutely. Well, some very interesting developments there. But Advait, thank you for getting us these details out here. So we'll be watching out for that. Of course, this is a developing story, and we're going to keep an eye on these stocks. But unfortunately, the entire group has certainly been under pressure for at least those investors who were long in some of these stocks. But on that note, let me also bring in Sharad Dubey which will bring us focus into 2 other stocks which were also buzzing in trade on the back of volumes and news. Sharad, what's made your list
today? The first thing we need to talk about is Sterlite Tech, which rose as much as high as 11% after the promoter Vedanta Group released their entire pledge in the shares. So if we see how the stock reacted, but let me just give you a background. The pledge share concerns were there the pledge had started somewhere in September, and it had reacted very negatively for the stock, and which was continuously going for a downward spin, and even the fiber prices also dropped in China in the month of March. But today we see there was a nice sharp jump of 11% as the stock ended at around 192 rupees after the promoters sold their entire pledge. On May 6th, actually, the promoters are told that they would actually release their pledge in the month of July. So it comes as a surprise, and we can expect significant re-rating going on for the stock. Up next, the second stock I've picked up is Jain Irrigation, which has snapped its 6-day losing streak. And if you can see over in the terminal itself, the stock ended at around 40.8 rupees today. This is basically on the news that the media report suggests that the company is mulling to divest its pipe business and also in order to pare its debt. also the management had stated in a couple of media channels that they are receiving expression of interest from buyers. So this is something which we'll be watching out for this counter. So Agam, these two stocks were actually buzzing in the mid-cap space today.
Okay, fair enough, Sharad. Thanks for getting us those details. So we keep an eye on these counters and a handful of others that we've spoken about today. And on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.